Next match on the card is going to be Bully Ray versus EC3. Everybody knows the whole situation was going down for here. It's going to be a long time for any of us really forget what happened at Sacrifice, basically, with Bully Ray fighting against... oh shit, I just told you that everybody's going to remember and I just forgot. Bully Ray fought against Robert Roode in that tables match. And basically, when Bully Ray seemed like he was going to have the match all wrapped up, Dixie Carter came running out. She was down at the ring. She was disguised as somebody in a production shoot. And basically, her coming into the ring helped Bully Ray lose the match. And Dixie Carter was exposed for wearing this stupid disguise. Why she just couldn't run out of the back. Why she wasn't supposed to be there. I got no clue. It still doesn't make any sense to me. In the upcoming episodes of Impact, they never really explained why she was wearing the disguise. They just probably had extra money laying around in this, big, huge budget that TNA runs with and just wanted to make sure. I don't know. I am bewildered. I have no idea. This still makes no sense to me on what's going down. Basically, because of this, Bully Ray wanted to go out and find some sort of revenge. I don't even know. I know that from here, Bobby Roode became the #1 contender. He had a series of matches against Eric Young. He wasn't able to pull out the win. I don't even think I've seen him on TV in the last little bit. He's not really booked for the show as of now, unless he's the last minute ad. They've already got 7 matches, so I'm not sure. Bobby Roode, turning babyface, seems like it's the right time for this. Bobby Roode is an awesome heel. Everybody has to flip every once in a while. It seems like Bobby Roode has fought everybody up and down the roster at least more than twice. So, it's just a change of pace to see what's going on from there. I wasn't a real big fan of James Storm turning heel, but it seems to be working now, a month into the turn. But basically, Bully Ray is caught in between these two forces, basically. He's the baby face going up against 2 heels almost at the same time, even though he only has 1 match against EC3. EC3 is a non-existent factor. Nobody really cares about him in this match. Everybody's trying to chase down when Bully Ray is going to find a way to put Dixie Carter through the table, basically. Bully Ray has been, chasing Dixie around, stalking him at the TNA offices, at Dixie Carter's home. It was a good series of videos about to do this, and when he was finally about to pay off and put Dixie Carter through the table, MVP was the one guy who stepped in, basically to say that, don't do it, and made her put her down, and they barred her from the building, and we had to go back on the chase for when this was finally going to happen. We got Dixie Carter and we got MVP. They came to solve their situation. Basically, MVP hijacked the company from Dixie because of the match at whatever pay-per-view it was. I can't even remember when Bully Ray turned babyface and helped MVP win the company and put it in the right hands at the right time, even though MVP screwed us all by turning on Eric Young to try and become the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. That still makes me shake my head. That's a big change of pace to go from, winning the company to turning on the company in no time. But at least the one thing they're keeping up with it is that he still does not get along with Dixie Carter, because I thought the one way that they were going to do this was they were just going to hand the company back over to Dixie. MVP was going to be happy with just getting the #1 contendership to try and become the champion, take it away from Eric Young, and everything be fine with that. But I feel like I'm going to be talking about that in the next match, and I'm not talking enough about what's going on in here. Basically, I think everybody wants to see Bully Ray put Dixie Carter through the table, even though, if you know anything, they can't do it on Spike TV unless it's just really, really bad smoke and mirrors, where basically the camera's focused on one thing, and then you hear the crash, and then they show Dixie laying on the ground and she's gone through the table. Spike TV isn't going to allow them to do any male-on-female violence, and in this world, maybe they shouldn't even do this. I know that Dixie Carter is the owner of the company. I know that, Vince McMahon, for the longest time, would raise hell against Stone Cold Steve Austin and hold him down for the longest time possible. And at the right possible moment, Stone Cold got his hands on Vince, and he would beat the shit out of him. I think everybody's going to remember the St. Valentine's Day Massacre match in the steel cage. where Austin beat his ass, almost had the match won until everybody found out the match hadn't even begun yet. They finally get him in the ring, and that's when Big Show arrives and does his big debut, throws Austin out of the cage, where Austin's able to get the win in the match, but everybody wants to see what's going to happen with Stone Cold against Big Show. That's not going to happen here, basically. Dixie Carter has EC3. EC3, when he came in, was sort of looked at as sort of a joke. He kept wrestling the guys that were doing the merchandise sales, the merchandise moves, the guys from PWG. And where have they been? Get them back on TV. They were entertaining. But basically, EC3 now has ditched that sort of demeanor, and now he's sort of like a real serious wrestler, even though everybody really looks at him like he's a big joke. He needs to have that one big breakthrough moment that people are really going to put him on the map, as EC3 is a real dude that people really care about. And beating Bully Ray would be that, but I don't think anybody wants to see that. It doesn't make much sense. But then Bully Ray doesn't really have anywhere to climb up the ladder, with Eric Young being the champion, unless MVP takes it away. So it's sort of a flip-flop sort of moment. I think that it's a long time until October, the next pay-per-view. So you really have to decide, when is Bully Ray going to get his hands on Dixie and put her through this table? It has to be on pay-per-view. I think you can get away with male-on-female violence if you want that in your company. I think that it would be a big moment. I'm not sure it would be a great lasting moment. I know Bully Ray is been good, putting people through the tables with Terry Runnels, with Mae Young, with et cetera, et cetera. He's never really hurt anybody with this. That he could do it the right way and everything be fine, as long as the person trusts Bully Ray to just do what he says and everything be fine. If he can do it with Mae Young and not hurt her, he can do it with anybody. But do you really want the fans to really have to hold out and wait all the way until October to see this? Maybe if Bully Ray wins this, MVP wins the championship, maybe move him up to becoming the #1 contender. Then again, they would have that going now. I was going to say they would have the Bound for Glory series, but it looks like maybe they're not even going to do that, because I think that was a part of Slammiversary last year. Are they even going to put anybody in the Hall of Fame? I got more questions about Slammiversary than I do about anything else, because I think at Slammiversary normally, isn't that when they would crown who the #1 contender was? That would be where they finished up the Bound for Glory series. Damn, I missed the Bound for Glory series. The first year they really fucked it up. The second year with when Jeff Hardy won, it was all right. But the third year last year, even though it got screwed up a little bit with AJ having to win the big match at the end that shot him into the thing, and it didn't really make sense. But everything else was pretty cool. It seemed like they were getting their hands around that, but maybe the people that were doing that are on the outside, and people aren't really wanting to do that again, where I have to make sure everybody had the same number of matches. But I'll take Bully Ray to lose this match, hopefully hoping EC3 making him a more memorable, thought-about character on the show, and helping out what's going on there, because I don't think anybody takes the guy serious. But we'll see what happens. We'll go from here. We'll go to the next match.